Hello, boys and girls. Here's my quote that I'm thinking about today. Good things will come. That's a really good positive message for right now, I think. When we're all feeling like, is this how it's going to be forever? Nope. Good things will come. So today it is Wednesday, April 29th. And we are going to be dividing a fraction by a whole number. So listen to that again. The fraction is going to be divided by the whole number. That's different than what we did on Monday and Tuesday. Today, together, we're going to do page 760, 761, numbers 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, my YouTube channel's there. And tonight or today, you're going to do 763, number 2 only. Now, I emailed with all of the directions for this week. I emailed this Word document right here that had these fraction bars on it. Hopefully you were able to print that out. If you don't have a printer or maybe you don't have ink, boys and girls, you could definitely make this. If you have a laptop or a computer screen, you could probably even just like put a blank piece of paper up onto it and just trace like right through it onto the blank piece of paper. You only need one hole. You need like one of these half bars, one of the 1/3 bars, one of the 1/4 bars, one of the 1/5, and the 1/6. Like you only need one of these pieces from each bar. Okay? So if you want to pause this and trace, if you have a laptop or a computer and trace it, and then cut them all out, you could do that, or you could just print this document. Like I said, I emailed it on Friday last week, April 24th, so that you guys would have it. But what you want it to look like is like this. See, I have one whole, give me a second. Let me lay these out for you. So I have my whole piece, my half, my third, my 4th, my 5th is stuck to my 4th. There we go, my 4th. There it all is. My 6th, my 7th, my 8th. I might have to move these up a little bit. That's what I'm going to do. Scooch 'em, scooch 'em, scooch 'em, scooch 'em. My 9th. My 10th, my 1/11th, and my 1/12th, and you'll see them all right there. So if you don't have that and you can think of a way to make yourself that or to print it, please pause this video now and go ahead and do that for yourself, because it's going to be very helpful on that page 763, number 2, if you have it. You'll be able to follow along with me with all the other ones, but it'll be helpful to you with the one problem that you have to submit to me. Okay, so we are going into our books on page 760. I'm not there. Allow me to get there, please. I don't know how to pause recording, otherwise I would. Alrighty, and we are looking at the try it at the top of the page on page 760. So take a look at what they want us to do. We're going to divide 1/5 into 2 pieces. And if you have these fraction tiles, that's going to be very helpful to you, because we're going to take this 1/5 piece. I'm going to lay it over here. Give me a second, because I'm going to trace around it. I'm going to trace around it. See, there's my 1/5 piece. See that? 1/5. It's about the same size. See? 1/5. I traced around it. And if you look up here, I need to divide that into 2. So I'm going to make a line as close as I can to the middle. Okay, and they did that up here with fraction towels also, but they're a different size. They're a different size than mine. So I took 1/2 and I divided it into 2 pieces. And now I'm going to take my fraction towels and I'm going to look to see what size I think that is. That looks a little too big. See how that's a little too big? That looks, it's closer, but see how there's still a little bit of space? Look at that one. Almost perfectly half of 1/5. Do you see that? So when I had that 1/5 bar, that was the whole thing, and I divided it into 2 pieces. I took 1/5, divided it into 2 pieces. I can fit a 1/10 tile exactly down on one of those pieces. It took 1/10 tile. You see that? So 1/5 divided by 2, or 1/5 divided into 2 pieces, each piece would be 1/10. And you know what, this is wrong because I said something wrong. It took 2, it would take 2 of these to cover the 1/5. See that? 1, 2. But what you need to focus on is what size was the tile I used? I used a 1/10 tile. We're going to do some more examples, so don't worry. So when I take 1/5 and I divide it into 2 equal pieces, one piece is a 1/10 of the 1/5. And that's easy to think about because look over here. 1/10 plus 1/10 would be what? Add the tops. 1 plus 1 is 2. Leave the bottom the same. That's 2/10. Well, if I divide the top by 2 and I divide the bottom by 2, look, I get my 1/5. And isn't that the size of the whole thing was a 1/5 tile? So let's look over here. We're going to use a 1/3 tile. So let me get my 1/3 tile out. There's my 1/3 tile. And I am going to trace around it. Let me do the best I can here. I only have one hand because my other hand is holding my phone. So just give me 1 second. I know it's going to look crazy here for a second, but know that I am just tracing around my 1/3 tile. I did it a little bit crooked, but it'll be okay. There's my 1/3 tile. It's a little bit short. Give me a second. Crazy. All right, a little bit short. Here we go. Okay. 1/3 tile. I'm sure you're doing a much better job because you have 2 hands and I only have 1. See how that's the size of my 1/3 tile. I have to divide it into 4 equal pieces, and I do want to try to get them as close to equal as I can. So see how I divided it into 4 pieces. Now I'm going to put my 1/3 tile back, and I'm going to start here. I like to start with my smallest tile. You can start with whatever tile you like. Take a look at that. See how each section is a 1/12? So 1/3 divided into 4 pieces is 1/12. Each piece is 1/12. And you can double check that, boys and girls. You can say, okay, 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12. Add the tops, 4, leave the bottom, the 12. You can divide both of these by 4, and now we're back to our 1/3. See that? All right, let's do our next one. Take a look at number 8. We need our 1/2 tile. Oh, 1/2 might not fit in there real good. I'm going to do it like this, I guess, because you see, I can't fit it. Look. Well, yeah, I can't fit it. So I'm going to do it kind of sideways. Well, I don't want to do it sideways. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to erase my check here so that it's out of the way. I can put my check down here. That's 4 12s. There we go. There we go. Okay, that's my check for number 7. Here we go, number 8. You guys know this is it's hard for me. Let me just trace this end. Let me trace that end. And then, ooh, Mrs. Steve's being fancy. I'm going to use my ruler to try to get it as close. It's important that you're drawing these to about the right size, because when you go to fit your fraction bar pieces, you want them to be, you know, pretty close. Let me double check. Okay, so 1/2, I traced it. It's really close. The bottom's really, really crooked, but the top's nice and straight. And we are going to take this 1/2 bar and we're going to divide it into 3 pieces, trying to make them about as equal as we can. About as equal as you can. And we're going to measure one of these pieces. One of these pieces, is it a 9th? Nope. How about an 8th? Nope. How about a 7th? Close, almost there. See how there's just a little bit? I bet this one's going to fit real nice. 1/6. See how each one of these is very close to 1/6. So if we take a 1/2 bar and we divide it into 3 pieces, one of those pieces is a 1/6 piece. Well, each piece is a 1/6 piece. Let's double check it. 1/6, 1/6, 1/6. Add them up. That would be 3 on top, 6 on the bottom. Let's divide by 3 over 3. Gives us 1/2. And isn't that the bar that we traced? The 1/2 bar. All right, let's take a look at number 9. We need a 1/3 bar again. So give me a second. I'm just tracing the sides here. Again, if I knew how to pause it, I would just pause it, but whatever. Alrighty, there we go. 1/3 bar. 1/3. See that? Okay. And we're going to divide it into 2 pieces. We're going to divide it into 2 pieces. Try to make them as equal as you can. It looks pretty close. Maybe it's 1/4. Let's see. 1/4 is way too big, Mrs. Steve. Let's try our 1/5 bar. 1/5 is closer, but it's still too big. Let's go back to our 1/6 bar. 1/6 fits exactly. Look at that. Look at that. 1/6 and 1/6. So if we take a 1/3 bar, we divide it into 2 pieces. Each piece is 1/6. If we would add up 1/6 and 1/6, we get 2/6. We can divide those both by 2 to give us the 1/3 bar that we drew. And number 10, our last one of practice together, the 1/4 bar. So I'm going to trace this 1/4 bar. One-fourth. There's my 1/4 bar. I need to divide it into 2 equal pieces. So I'm going to try to do it as equal as I can. This piece looks a little bit bigger than that piece. So I'm going to erase it. Move my line over just a smidgen. That's a lot better. And I've noticed something, and I want to show you guys it and see if you've noticed it too. Can you see how 3 times 4 is 12? 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 2 is 6. So we kind of have a little bit of a hint of what fraction bar I should try to match up. What's 4 times 2? 4 times 2 is 8. So I'm willing to bet the 1/8 fraction bar is what makes up that. Let's try it. Take a look at that. 1/8 there, 1/8 there. So 1/4 divided into 2 pieces is 1/8. Each piece is 1/8. Do you see that? So use that little trick to help you tonight with, the fact that 4 times 2 is 8 in number 10, or, see how the denominator's 3 times, 2 times 3 is 6. That even worked over here in our first example. 5 times 2 is 10. So there is a little bit of a hint there for these to help you. Tonight's homework is page 763. It's number 2. You're going to need a 1/4 bar. Okay, you're going to draw a 1/4 bar that you divide into 3 pieces. But think about what 4 times 3 is. That's going to help you with that one. Take a picture of page 763, number 2. Email it to me at amanda.steve@westernbeaver.org to get your credit for tonight's work. Okay, and don't forget, boys and girls, good things will come. Talk to you again soon. I miss you lots.